I've been trading this whole time, barely surviving with $1,000. And in this video, I want to discuss a few things, manufacturer drawdown, as well as what I'm planning to do moving forward. So this is a chart of SPX. Yesterday was Friday, November 14th. I did 3 trades on SPY, the S&P 500, which resulted in about $168. The moment I made that money, I had to wire the money out of my trading account to pay some bill that I'm behind on. And this is the first key topic that I want to discuss, which is manufacturer drawdown. So as you trade full time, if that's what you choose to do, when you pull money out of that account, you're drawing your account down, and that means you have less money to trade with the next day or the next week, etc. And so drawdown, the natural drawdown that everyone knows about is when you take a loss in the market. But when you pull money out, you're drawing your account down. And not having substantial levels of income to basically mitigate my expenses, I'm constantly manufacturing drawdown, pulling money out when I make, and I've been just scalping because I can't even swing trade. It's like I've tried to swing trade, but swing trading comes with its own risk. And, the market, ever since October 10th, well, really ever since October, the market has been relatively choppy in terms of like being smooth with its trend upwards. So October 3rd, that was basically the last time I really stopped trying to swing trade. And then October 10th, when, the Trump announced the tariffs, that big red bar, let me see if I could see it. October 10th, there's been a lot of volatility in the marketplace to wonder, like, should I even be swing trading? Because if I swing trade, it can cost too much of a drawdown. Where is October? Right here, this big old nasty, this marks volatility to me. Anytime I see these big nasty red candles or a big giant green candle, which April 9th, that was the mark of smooth transition into a trend in the S&P 500. But all of these big bodied, what are they called? Matsusu bars? I'm sorry, I forget the name of them. But they mark the beginning and end of something, at least to me. That's how I perceive them. And so look at like these gap ups and this vicious sell-off and this gap up again and then vicious sell-off as of, yesterday, Friday. And so this is too much chop to really try to swing. Where's October 3rd? Yeah, October 3rd. This day was particularly vicious for me intraday. And from there, I'm like, not swing trading. So I've been scalping, making $50 to $500 here and there, and immediately pulling the money out to go pay some bill that I'm behind on. My phone's been cut off. I'm facing eviction. My court date is Monday, and so I won't be living in the house that I've been living in for the last 3 years. The other thing too with what's been going on is I'm a single man now, but I still provide for my son. I do the very best that I can to make things work for him. I starve in order for him to eat and have diapers and do the things that he needs and the things that he has, just purely, literally off of scalping. So another thing too is like my commissions. Look at this. $598. I pay very close attention to this number right here because it eats up so much money. This is how much money since I've like started actively trading in this cash account. This is how much commissions I've like accrued. And commissions are like 60 cents or I'm with Thinkorswim. It's like 66 cents one way. So this just tells you, how much activity I've just been generated. And I opened this account the day I quit, or I started to transfer. I started to be more active in this account since like the end of June. And so what am I going to do moving forward? Well, I don't intend to get another house because that's more expensive. I've got to build my trading account back up, and without, you know, an expensive house and a whole bunch of bills to just to keep up with the house, I'll have like less time, less money to like I basically manufacture drawdown less. And I plan on getting a gym membership, showering at the gym, sleeping in my car, and I'm gonna rent an office space so that I can have a strong Ethernet connection. Because another thing too, for truck drivers who actively trade, especially because of the mobile lifestyle, your quotes are always delayed. At least from my perspective, my quotes were always delayed because I was always moving. I was never connected directly to any type of internet. It was always on a mobile device. And, I had to use hotspots when I had to shut down to do like a 34-hour reset, or I was in a different city and I had to get a hotel. Like the internet connection is really, it plays a big role in your profitability because you're looking at numbers, prices, quotes that aren't where price actually is anymore. So you'll put on a trade and you'll immediately be underwater because the price has moved and you're looking at old data, old information. And so because I understand the importance of having, up to the minute, like actually up to the second, a fraction of a second of quotes, I'll eventually get me an office space so that I can directly plug into, with Ethernet, the market, so that because that helps me scalp because the prices are like as close to the market as possible. I know no matter what, as a retail trader, we're always going to get some type of delayed quote, but to gather as much edge as possible, we've got to do things in order to, reduce the level of latency that we get when we're getting our quotes. So once I get the office space, I know like I have the office space. I have up to date, up to the minute quotes. I'll have less bills. Basically, the only kind of expense that I will have is like my cell phone bill, gas for my car, and insurance, and everything else is towards my son, diapers and or whatnot. And he has a mother, so she should as well provide as much as she can for him, which I know that she will. But from here, I believe that within the next few months or so, I hope to grow this account so that I can scalp enough on a daily to where I can start swing trading again, longer term swing trading, but using my scalp as my primary source of income. I know I've got to pay taxes, which is another burden that must be overcome over time. But this is just an update, and I know there's a lot of people out there, they question my choices. They will question my choices, but I know I have edge, and I've been experiencing a lot of manufactured drawdown because of the level of lifestyle that I had been living, and going from one crap trucking company to another crap trucking company. I had to do a lot of pulling money out of my trading account in order to make ends meet. And I've transitioned between trucking companies before. This is the most difficult transition of all because I experienced a rather large loss, and that has put a hamper. And the other thing too, I'm trading with a cash account. When you start out with like portfolio margin, and then you fall down to PDT restrictions, and then you fall down to cash account restrictions, it's like being hogtied. You go from being able to trade any instrument at any time to now you're restricted. So it's much harder to get back to higher and higher levels. And so it's much harder, but I've got to keep my nose down and do one trade at a time, one day at a time. I'm way more selective. I'm way more selective than I have ever been, because I have to. The other thing too, the more money you have, the more sloppy you tend to be, at least from my perspective. Especially you got good income coming in, a lot of buffer. You could be a little too sloppy. And so I over these last few months, I've been tightening up my slop. Been focused a lot, and just making this same, like, literally $1,000 work. Like, my son's birthday was, it passed a few weeks ago. That day, I made $124. I pulled it right out of the account, and him and we went straight to just so he could have a meaningful birthday of somewhat. He's not gonna remember this. He's a young toddler. But I took him to indoor trampoline park, and he had a great time. Then we went. We got some pizza, some ice cream. Just little things. But that $124, that's money that I like. I'm just stuck at this level. But moving forward, I just know with less bills, letting this house go, letting all the all the crazy expenses, it's less manufactured drawdown that I have to experience, in addition to the natural drawdowns that you get from trading. But the last thing I'm going to say about edge, right? There's all types of edge. And one of the edges I described was latency, like having delayed quotes. You lose edge with having delayed quotes. It means you're making decisions on past prices that aren't there anymore, and you automatically walk into a loss, not realizing it. And then because you're latency, you're experiencing late quotes. When the market starts moving, the market is moving without you, because by the time it gets your order, because your internet connection is too slow, the price it's already moved way away from you, and so you can't even get a fill. So that's an edge that you got to erode, or you got to, you can do things to get back. So another edge is pain, suffering, endurance. Most people actually will criticize my choices, and they're just unwilling to endure the level of pain that I'm at present enduring. I'm about to be homeless in pursuit of a mission, of a dream, of a goal, of an objective for a better, greater life. Sometimes you got to take 10 steps back in order to catapult millions of steps ahead. And only a thoroughbred, true entrepreneur understands this. It's not easy getting to where you're going to get, and you're going to lose so many people along the way, because you have a vision, you have a goal, you have an objective, and along the way you learn things. And most quit trading, most quit business, right? Most people lose at everything. There's this quote, like 90% of traders lose money within 90 days, and like 90% of their account within 90 days, or whatever, right? But the fact of the matter is, 90% of people lose at 90% of all things. 90% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. And of the 10% who survive, 90% of them fail too. You never actually get where you're going. It's an ongoing battle. But those who persevere, who endure, that is an edge. A level of pain that others cannot. And I know that it will pay off. Again, I've undergone this before. I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. I've always been in pursuit of the greater, the bigger and better things in life. And really, it's really not even about the money, for real. It's about accomplishing something, about weathering the storm, about standing and not folding over, about doing something beyond just the routine of waking up, driving the same place every single day, talk to people who don't care about you, making other people wealthy off of your hard-earned labor, eroding your time, like eroding your health behind the wheel of a truck, risking your life, risking the lives of others, risking damaging a lot of things. Like there's so much risk in trucking. It's ridiculous. And the people in entities that benefit the most from trucking are finance companies and insurance companies, along with the owners. The owners come third because insurance comes first. If you can't be insured, you can't get a truck. And they bear the most risk, but they mitigate that risk along a whole bunch of drivers. But ultimately, they're the ones literally feeding off of the industry. Insurance and finance. You finance a truck, you're paying like out the wazoo, and a lot of drivers go underwater because freight fluctuates. But your expenses don't. Your expenses stay static. It stays the same, but your margins shrink, and then it expands and shrinks again. And so a lot of truck drivers wash out of being truck drivers. Now, there are drivers who make it work. There are drivers who make it work, and they do well, very well for themselves. But the same also goes for traders. There are traders who do very well for themselves. And despite the fact that right now, I've taken a massive hit, massive blow, I still endure. I still persevere. And this message is not necessarily for, I don't know, empathy, sympathy, or whatever the case is. It's just, I'm here doing this alone, and it's just me in my mind, in my own self, and I need an outlet. This is my outlet. So, yeah, I'm going to do another video a little later. I hope you found value in this. And, yeah, keep on keeping on with whatever it is that you're doing. If trucking is your only means to the end, then, keep on keeping on with that. And if trading is like, if you perceive trading as your vision out, because inevitably you're going to face that exit from trucking no matter what. And investing, like, it's better to be like, this is, trading is risky. That should go without saying. And investing is risky. Everything is risky. But all roads in terms of money leads back to the stock market. The Social Security has a fund. Your 401k is part of a fund. Every time you put money into a bank, like the largest regional banks and up, like regional banks, national banks, they all have a trading division. They're actively trading everybody's money. When you open up your bank ledger or your bank account, that's just a ledger. The money's not actually there. It's only there when you call upon it from the bank. They're taking it and they're working it in the market. All roads lead back to the market. And from my personal opinion, it's better to understand the market before you retire. And even if you're not an active trader, it's best to understand the short-term fluctuations of price action. That way you have a better grasp on your future, a better grasp on your investments moving forward. But that's just my opinion. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found value in it. And for anyone thinking about doing this, it's hard. You have to be able to persevere. You have to be able to endure. And, it is what it is, though. I'm out.